John Jenkinson with you on this Monday. All right, we had a couple of bits of information here this morning to pass along. One of them was in the form of an overnight sale. Let's find out where all of this grain is headed. The corn, 651,670 ton, headed for Mexico. So that was the report of the overnight sale. Then we had the grain export inspections. After that, that came out at 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. And it shows where this past week there was 590,000, just a little over 590,000 metric ton of corn that was inspected for shipment. In the export inspections, it was sorghum, 33,304. Soybeans were at 906,029. And that compares to last week's 1.29 million metric ton. And then wheat came in just a little under what it had been averaging lately, 402,486. Last week was 558,523, and it's been running in that about a 500,000 bushel range for quite some time. So just kind of a mixed signal here as far as the export inspections go. Let's look at the corn market now over on the futures side of this trade today. And the December corn, that's our new crop. It is unchanged and steady at 355.5. March is also steady, so is May. May just now changed. Now it's up a quarter at 377 3/4. November soybeans are the new crop. It's up 1 1/4 at 859. January's up a penny. March is up 3/4 cent. The wheat market is sharply higher with December Chicago wheat up 9 1/4. July is up 4 1/4 at 483 1/4. The December Kansas City wheat is up 4 1/4 at 397 1/2. Let's check in with Todd Horwitz. He's with Bubba Trading, and he joins us now. And Todd, looks like you're there at the edge of the trading floor where all the action is today.
I'd like to jump off the edge. Hello, John. Good morning. How are you? What's going on?
We're doing well. All right. What about these grain markets here this morning? What's your take?
I mean, they looked horrible earlier. They have come off the mat, and of course, wheat is exploding higher. But corn has been really tough the last few weeks, and maybe it found a bottom, today. We'll see. I think it's really quiet, and I think there's a lot of people waiting for the USDA report on, I think, Thursday this week. So it may be quiet throughout, but the simple fact that all of them were able to come back from the lows this morning and actually get back to the unchanged level, I think that's something that is encouraging. But again, we need a little bit more evidence that they're actually going to turn and go higher from here. But certainly, this is a good sign to start with.
Seasonally, Todd, is this kind of a quiet time in the trade? Is this kind of a time when everybody just kind of takes a little bit of a break before we get into the harvest?
You would think that typically we're quiet around this time. However, if you look at some of the news that has been flowing out, we talk about the trade deal. The grains have yet to ever bounce off of the news that there's a possible trade deal, while equities have gone crazy based on the same information. So I think the grains are a little bit sharper, and they know a little bit more that that's really probably not a deal anytime soon. And you've seen that pressure. And of course, with a slow market, it's easier to push them lower, which then forces a lot of people out where they might not want to be out, because of course big money can force these markets into the lower end here and create some fear among traders and farmers and producers.
So what's your opinion then? Is there still energy in this complex, this grain complex, that could make a springboard to things bounce higher if we ever do get a breakthrough in trade?
Well, my opinion is, forget about trade. I really don't care. I think trade really is more overblown. But I do believe that there's a big bounce coming. Again, I haven't lost my positive attitude of where we're going. It's just where we're going to get there from, and when we're going to actually find the bottom and find that key support level. And again, this morning is a good start. I mean, that was, it was pretty depressing when I was looking at this stuff early this morning and saw it down another 3-4 cents. I go, when are we ever going to stop? And now that we've at least come off the deck, if we can consolidate for a few days without making a new low, I think that might be the very start of it, and we could see much higher prices from there.
Todd, we're going to get your thoughts on the livestock complex. We're going to do that straight ahead. Stay with us. We'll be back with Todd Horwitz on the other side of this break. Well, the protein complex really closed on a sharply lower day for the live cattle and the hogs on Friday. Let's see how we're doing here today as we are partway through this session on a Monday. Over here, the live cattle market right now, and we've got the front month of October down 33 at 94.55. The December down 28. The February is down 8. We've only got one contract that's higher. That's the April. On to the feeder cattle. October down $1.55. November is down $1.40 at 128.97. And in the hog complex, October's up 15, but December is down $1.60. February down $1.65, and then you go all the way out to May of 2020 before you see anything back to the higher side. It's up 25 cents. So this protein complex has weight of its own here today, Todd. That is some of this carryover from last Friday, or have we got something new at work here?
You know, I think it's a carryover. I think, again, this ties into when markets are dull and markets are quiet in general. You know, worldwide markets, it always weighs on the commodities, especially the ag, and I think we're seeing this push down. I mean, certainly it doesn't feel very good to watch these things just get slaughtered, basically, pardon the pun, but, you know, we've seen some really heavy pressure, and if we don't find a place to hold here, it looks like there's more room to go on the downside. Now, again, I believe the same thing I believe in the grains, is that there's going to be, we're going to find a bottom, and it should be somewhere near here, and I think we're going to go much higher. It certainly doesn't make sense. I think there's a lot of funny business going on with some of the spreads between some of the retail and whatever. It's more complicated, but I think there's something going on that's keeping some pressure, and I think they're getting ready to try to explode, but we have to make sure that they can actually hold the bottom before we look to be a buyer.
Do the fundamentals just not want to be a part of any of this protein complex?
Again, we're dealing with light volume, it's a lot easier to push price around. You know, we get some volume, it's much more difficult for somebody who wants to try to drive price in one way or the other to drive it. And right now, with the very quiet trade, the lackluster volume, it can kind of go where the big money wants to take it. And that's
okay,
really
Todd,
what we're
thanks
seeing.
a lot. Todd Horwitz
Thanks,
there at the edge of the trading floor. The new cutouts are out, and the beef cutouts came in today on the mixed side with the choice on the lower side by 73 cents. The select's up 174, and for the pork, it's the carcasses and loins lower, the hams both on the higher side. The belly's up 80 cents.
All right, mixed on the belly, or I should say on the pork cutout for
That's
today.
right.
All right, belly's up though. That's something we see pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, John.